I'm Liz Schrum for the Wisconsin Technology Council, here with WisBusiness.com, the show. Just ahead, Tom Still talks about states and regions that might offer economic growth examples for Wisconsin. And Dan Blake of the Wisconsin Angel Network discusses what happens when investors get together to talk shop. And now, here's the WisBusiness.com stock report for early September. Rising healthcare costs. Wisconsin residents pay more for healthcare than people in many other states, but they often receive higher quality care too. The most recent report by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services say healthcare spending in Wisconsin averaged just over $7,200 per person in 2009. That was 6% higher than the national average of $6,800. And falling. Unemployment claims. Initial unemployment claims in Wisconsin have remained below 8,000 for 5 straight weeks, the first time that's happened since 2005 and just the second time since 2000. The State Workforce Development Agency also reported the year-to-date average of initial claims through July was about 10,800 per week. That represented a 13-year low. And now, here's Tom Still with his Inside Wisconsin commentary.
If there's a flaw in Wisconsin's cultural DNA that should be targeted for knockout genetic treatments in one of our leading laboratories, it would be our reluctance to learn from others. For reasons that may range from geography to political tradition, the same parochialism that makes most of us loyal Packers and Badgers fans sometimes closes our eyes to the possibility that people living elsewhere can also be smart, productive, and inventive. We can love it here and still admit we don't know everything. An example of looking beyond Wisconsin for best practices took place recently when the Greater Madison Chamber of Commerce organized a leadership bus trip to Chicago to tour the 1871 digital co-working space. Opened less than 2 years ago with support from a major private donor and state government, it's a place for Chicago software designers, coders, and entrepreneurs to build companies. What are other states and metros worth watching? Many people know about successes in the Silicon Valley, Boston, and Austin regions, as well as larger states such as Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and New York. But it may also be instructive for Wisconsin to track best practices in states of similar size. Here are a few examples. Colorado is a hotbed of activity for reasons that range from its enduring frontier mentality, its pro-growth political culture, to the fact its governor is an entrepreneur. In the latest report by the Kauffman Foundation on high-tech startups, 5 Colorado cities made the list of the nation's top 25 startup hubs. Other western states high on the list were Utah, Idaho, Montana, Oregon, and Wyoming. The reasons can't all be explained by ski slopes and mountains. Minnesota has long been a leader in medical device companies and remains so, but recent political changes there have some businesses rethinking the state's allure. Maryland is home to a number of technology and life sciences companies, helped by proximity to Washington, D.C., and Baltimore's Johns Hopkins University. Among other places that show up in many rankings are Huntsville, Alabama, Trenton, New Jersey, Columbus, Ohio, Ann Arbor, Michigan, Wilmington, Delaware, and Des Moines, Iowa. What do they have in common? Many are homes to major research universities or federal laboratories, which spin out ideas. Others are healthcare hubs. Almost all have strong information technology infrastructures, including broadband, but also high-speed networks. They're also places where public and private differences are overcome, where entrepreneurs are encouraged, and where common regional interests are stressed, whether within a metro area or across state lines. Yes, tax structures and incentives help, but those often work hand in hand with other non-government factors. Wisconsin has much of what it takes to compete, but it won't necessarily find all of the answers within its borders. Sometimes it pays to learn from others.
Thanks, Tom. I'll be right back with Dan Blake of the Wisconsin Angel Network.
White Hirschbeck Dudek represents companies at all stages of development and in a wide range of industries to navigate the legal challenges of regional, national, and global growth. At WHD, every stage takes center stage.
I'm back with Dan Blake, director of the Wisconsin Angel Network, which works with early stage investors in Wisconsin and beyond. Welcome, Dan.
Hi, Liz. Thanks for having me.
The Wisconsin Angel Network helps track issues at the state and federal level that affect investors close to home. What are some examples of emerging challenges?
We work closely with legislators at both the federal and state level on issues regarding early stage investment. One issue that's come up recently deals with the Jobs Act, where general solicitation rules were released that go into effect on September 23rd. There were also several proposed rules that came out regarding new filing requirements for startup companies. Early stage investors have been staunchly in opposition of those proposed rules, and we hope that the SEC will change them prior to them being implemented.
Now, many of those issues will be discussed at an upcoming workshop for investors. Tell us more about it.
Yeah, on September 10th at American Family Insurance, the Wisconsin Angel Network is producing Investor's Edge. This investor-focused conference will feature, among other things, a workshop by Bob Okabe, the board director of the Angel Resource Institute, a several-hour workshop focused on issues such as deal terms, structures, latest deal flow possibilities, and companies that are out raising money. In addition, there will be updates on the early stage capital program. There will also be an update on the QNBV Act 255 program at the state level, and we'll hear from a number of different angel groups from around the state on their latest initiatives.
Investors like to stay informed about emerging companies in their backyards. What are some upcoming events that will help them do so?
One of those events that the Wisconsin Angel Network has is the Investor's Edge, where investors will be able to provide updates on companies that they've recently seen and exciting opportunities that they're involved in. In addition, on September 19th, the Resource Rendezvous will be held in Milwaukee, where about 12 companies or so will be presenting. In addition, the Early Stage Symposium, November 5th and 6th at Madison's Monona Terrace, will feature a number of different companies during the Wisconsin Angel Network tracks. Those calls for companies will be going out soon.
Thanks, Dan, and thank you for watching this edition of WisBusiness.com, the show. The show is produced by WisBusiness.com and the Wisconsin Technology Council, and sponsored by BMO Harris, White Hirschbeck Dudek, MG&E, and UW Milwaukee. Visit our websites to read and learn more. I'm Liz Schrum of Talent Foot Executive Search. See you next time.